heading out to Dollar Tree because I am in search for some wine glasses. You can use these in your kitchen, of course, but they're so fun for crafting. So grab a hot cocoa, get cozy by the fire, and let's get crafting. We're going to start with this beautiful shaped wine glass. It is glass and it is gorgeous. I'm going to trace it on top of this foam piece. This is also from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to cut it. Now, I'm not going to cut it straight. I'm going to cut it at an angle because I want it to fit inside the wine glass, but I don't want it to go all the way through. So I'm just going to use my X-Acto knife and just kind of take my time, making sure that I'm cutting all the way around in a nice angle. I'm going to remove the excess from the sides, and then I'm going to poke a hole, and that's because we're going to be threading some fairy lights. I love using fairy lights for pretty much all year round, but especially for Christmas crafts. These I get on Amazon, and I do have them on my Amazon store, which is linked below. I'm just going to place them inside the jar once they're threaded through the little hole. Place the foam inside, and you see how it kind of stays almost like a little cap? That's what I want. So then I'm just going to add hot glue on the edge and then join it together. I'm going to use alien tape for the battery pack and then just attach it to the back. Although you can also use masking tape, hot glue, whatever works for you. To cover up that seam, I'm going to use this little pom-pom ribbon from Dollar Tree. You don't have to use this one, of course. You can use any ribbon you want and in any color. I contemplated doing like a golden glittery one, but I do like this one. I'm going to cut off the excess, and then it's time to add some embellishments. I'm just going to add some of these little picks. These are also from Amazon because you get so much more bang for your buck. But if you have any from Dollar Tree, you can use those as well. I'm going to place them here and there with a little dab of hot glue, and then I'm going to move on to some red berries. These are from Dollar Tree, and again, I'm just going to keep adding them all around the perimeter. I want to leave the center nice and open so that we can put a candle. All right, so once I had the berries in place, now I'm going to add some of these leafy greens. These are leftover from a poinsettia pick, and I thought, why not use them? So I'm just going to use my little finger protector and just push them in there in between the little bristles. That way it's going to cover up that foam that you can still see, and it adds a lot of color and a lot of texture. So I'm just going to do that all the way around until it's fully covered. Then it's time to move on to the battery operated candle. I love these. These are also from Amazon, although Dollar Tree carries some, but they're not this thin. They're a little thicker. I decided to add something else to the handle of the glass, so I'm just going to make a very simple bow using this red ribbon from Dollar Tree. Loop it and scrunch it in the middle. I'm just going to add some of this little ribbon around it, and then I'm going to fluff it, and I'm going to hot glue it first because that's going to kind of hold it for me while I tie it in a nice tight knot. Once I have that, then I'm going to add this little pine cone right in the center of the bow. And then I decided to add more pine cones. So I'm just going to add one inside those little leaves that I added earlier. And I think it looks way better with the pine cones. All right, so then I'm going to add some extra little greenery picks around the bow and the candle on top. That's it. How fun, how beautiful, and it glows so beautiful. Wait until you see it in the dark. I'd love to know what you think. Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take another one of those wine glasses, and this time we're going to trace it on some cardboard. This is white cardboard, but any cardboard you have is fine. You can also use foam board. I'm going to cut it off, and then I'm going to cut off just a little sliver of this cone foam from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to center it right in the center with some hot glue. You see how it still has a little ledge? That's where we're going to place the glass. I'm going to start adding some of these little trees that you can find at Dollar Tree because we want to create like a little snow globe, but inside the glass. So I'm going to keep cutting as needed so that everything fits nice and snug inside of the glass. I'm going to add this little Santa figurine. This is one of those little figurines that go into a little Christmas village. And then I'm going to add one more of those little Amazon pigs. I'm going to bring in another set of the fairy lights, and we're just going to wrap it around the little Christmas tree and then all around the entire piece and even around Santa because he's the one putting up the lights on the tree. We're going to put him to work. All right, so we are going to add some faux snow inside the glass, and then we're going to quickly work here, add glue around the rim, around that little edge, and then we're going to just place the design right inside. That way the snow is not going to come out, and then once you have it attached, it's nice and sturdy. There you go. All right, so now we are going to use more alien tape, and this time we're just going to do it on the back of the glass once again. Just pick a side, of course, that's going to be towards the back. We're going to add some of this glittery ribbon from Dollar Tree. This time we're just going to wrap it around. That's it. Just wrap it around the handle several times. You can use any color you want or leave it just as is. It does not matter. And then we're going to hot glue it and secure it in place. I'm going to take this ribbon. I believe this one's from Walmart, and I'm just going to make a very simple bow. I'm going to tie it in the center with some of this string, and then we're going to tie it around that handle. Just a little knot goes a long way. And then we're just going to fluff up the bow, and we're going to add a bell right in the center. We're going to take some white yarn. We're just going to line the edge at the bottom. This is going to hide that cardboard, the glue that was oozing out, and it just cleans it up, makes it nice and pretty. So I did that all the way around. Of course, you want to cut off any excess. And you can add whatever else you want, my friends. I'm going to add a candle right on top. Love this one. Oh my word. It has such a classy, kind of traditional color Christmas. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we are going to take this beautiful wine glass. This one's a little taller and thinner than the previous ones. I'm going to wipe it well, and I'm going to pair it with one of those dusting mops from Dollar Tree. Love crafting with these. I'm going to cut off a piece that's about the same height as the glass, and then we are going to place it right inside. This is going to be a snowman themed glass craft, so we're just going to make his body nice and white with the mop, and it fits so good. Wow, how easy is this too? We're going to take this snowman head ornament and we're going to remove the hat because we have other plans for him. We're going to take one of these scarves from Dollar Tree you can find every winter season, and we're going to cut off a piece that's about, I don't know, maybe 5-6 inches wide. And then we're going to add hot glue out around his head, and we're going to place it around because we're giving him a little cozy hat. Oh, I love the way he looks. All right, so we're just going to hot glue it all the way around. And then, of course, we want to scrunch it up and tie it so that it does look like a little winter hat. He is looking adorable. All right, we want to give him some buttons, so we're going to use some black paint by Waverly and the back side of one of my brushes, and we're just going to make little buttons. That's it. They don't have to be perfect. You just want to do that. You can also use real buttons if you want and hot glue them in place. All right, so now I'm going to add hot glue around the rim at the top and then work a little quickly here because we want to make sure that it stays nice and hot, and then we're going to place the head right on top. We're going to take a little bit more of that scarf and we're going to cut off a thin, longer piece. And this is what we're going to create, a little scarf for him. So we're just going to wrap it around his neck and then tie it in a cute little knot. And again, you can add whatever else you want. I think some fairy lights around the body where the mop is would have been great too. But I think he looks cozy, he looks wintry, and I love everything about it. What do you think of this one? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Christmas craft, we are going to take this super mega large wine glass. No, we did not get this at Dollar Tree. This was actually given to me by my mom. I think she got it secondhand somewhere. And I thought it would be a great opportunity to make something for her. So we're going to fill the bottom with some of the faux snow from earlier. And then I realized it was way too much. So we're going to place some inside in a minute here. I'm just going to take this foam and I'm just going to cut off a piece because we are want to add in a little tree inside, and then the foam is just going to help. Here's a little tree. This one was left over from another project. You can see that it had glue at the bottom. So I'm just going to cut off a piece because it was way too tall for the glass. Once I have it cut, then I'm just going to add a little hot glue and we're going to stick it right in the middle of the foam. And then we're going to add it inside. And this is when I realized I need to take some of the snow out because it was just too wobbly. So we're just going to place some of the snow back inside. And of course, this is just by preference. You can always leave it without any snow and then add it. All right, so once I had it, then we're just going to start adding the faux snow all around the tree, and this is just going to fill it up. You can add as little or as much as you want. I just added enough to cover the foam and to touch the bristles of the tree. All right, so then we're going to add some of these tiny little trees from Dollar Tree. We're going to add 4, but 2 of them are going to be white and 2 of them are going to be green but frosted. And I'm just going to slide them on the sides. I'm using my hands, but I end up then moving on to my scissors because it was just way easier to get in there, and you'll see it here in just a minute. I'm going to place this last tree, and then we're going to take this little figurines, And then we're just going to place them inside. This is just what I had left over from last year, so we're going to make it work. So here are my scissors. I'm just going to grab it and just kind of place them where I want to. They have a nice flat bottom, so it really stays in place. But I did move them around and shuffle them around just to make sure that the snow was covering the base and just to know that they were where it needed to be. That's all. And of course, you can leave it like this. You can add lights if you want, but I decided to add some of this Hobby Lobby faux fur ribbon. I'm just going to cut off a piece and then we're going to fold just a little bit, add a little hot glue, and we're going to wrap it around the base. This is just going to give it more of a cozy feel. You can add any ribbon style you want, or again, just leave it the way it was. I had this little pearl vine left over. I think it was from like summer maybe. I'm going to wrap around a piece and then we're just going to curl the ends with a pencil. This is just going to give it a nice, cute little touch. And then in the center, I contemplating adding greenery. I just went with a frosted berry that I had left over from last year and a little pine cone right next to it, keeping it simple. I wish I would have added fairy lights, but we can always add it later if we want. But I love it. It was such an easy craft. I love how large it is. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. I have another video here for you with tons more of Dollar Tree DIY crafts inspiration. Check it out. I'll see you later and have a blessed day. Bye.